All right, welcome everybody. It's Friday. Thank you for coming on. So I got a question from Stone Cold 53. Can you talk a little on the indentured trustee and what they can do for us? So I actually made a video on the indentured trustee. It's kind of tucked into one of my videos called Misinformation. And what it is basically there's people that are at a bank that can be a trustee for you if you appoint them. However, it is very expensive, and they don't have to accept it. And that's how any trustee works. So, as the author and creator of any trust, if you choose to be the creator, you can decide what the terms and conditions are if you want to play the role as grantor. And when it comes to the financial system, the U.S. citizen is not authorized to do certain things. So you have to be very careful and learned on what you're getting involved in if you're going to be trying to mess with any financial institute. How you doing, Daydream Believer? Nice to see you, beautiful. So financial institutes are agents that are allowed to do certain things like monetize our signature. They're allowed to deal in certain securities. They're allowed to exchange all kinds of different like documentation and convert stuff. That's Congress has authorized them to do all kinds of stuff. Where we get tricked in is we get misled by people who think they're telling us the truth, and you're able to do all these things. But to get an indentured trustee is very expensive, and there's none at a bank that is for you, particularly in the public. Now, in the private, they do things all the time with U.S. citizens, promissory notes and stuff like that, and bank accounts and stuff. When you deposit something in a bank, you are deposing yourself of funds. Even though U.S. Federal Reserve notes aren't even ours, but I missed you too. I go on your stuff. I've been all over the place. I went to Jamaica and back. And Daydream, it's nice to see you. I love your content. I appreciate showing the love and the. I literally just made a video on how bad I'm getting throttled down. I think it's my third video. It took me a couple weeks to try to put all the pieces together, but I kind of understand what's going on now as far as why they're throttling down content creators like me and others that are outside of the mainstream narrative, or not doing something like clicking and ticking on the microphone to try to get likes, or doing absolutely nothing educational with their content. But hey, what is up, Chris Vaughn? King Charles, thank you very much. I appreciate that. I've not been called that in a very long time, if ever. Yes, travel is fun. What's up with you, Chris? How you doing? Yeah, it was eye opening. I love Jamaica. It was beautiful. It was so amazing. It's real peaceful. I'd love to go back one day. My first Caribbean experience is just wow. I don't know how to explain it. I brought my drone, but I only used it twice. I don't know if I'll bring my drone on my next trip, just because it's not a super pain in the butt, but it's still an extra piece of luggage that I'm bringing around, and I can get great shots with it, but it's kind of a pain in the butt. Should say Prince until we get to glory. LOL. Yeah. Well, you can find glory here and now. That's the beauty of self-sacrificing. You can find the glory every day, and the creators are with us. Starlight Artesian, hello. By the way, at you aware what cha means? I do not. I'd have to look it up. And what language? So, what's cool is cha rules. Actually, on some of my different platforms, I put ya rules. Ya, which is one of the names of the creator. So instead of going cha, I put ya rules. It's something of a poster. All right, Harvey Wallbanger. Do recommend changing status to national to do debt cancellation. You don't have to be a national to cancel debt. You just have to be the author and creator of your contracts, and you need to know how to enforce them. Status and standing is something that I recommend to a lot of people, because through all the adhesion contracts and stuff we sign on, growing up not knowing anything or reserving any type of specifics, we think we are U.S. citizens, and those are just corporations. They're individual trusts that were created they can be for your benefit, but a lot of people get tricked up in it and confused and assume the identity and think it's them. And, it's so funny. all these other civilizations are so advanced when they're teaching their kids. Like I watch a video and they got like very young Chinese kids that are 4 and 5 year olds making their own food and stuff in school. And then you come over here and we don't even know how basic styles work for English, the English language. Like you can look at your license and see everything's in all capital letters, or on a legal document everything's in all capital letters. That's not proper English at all. And it just blows by everybody. They just can't even catch it because they're so caught up in the nuances of day-to-day life that they can't even realize simple stuff like that. Heaven on earth is the goal, absolutely. The kingdom is within, and you want to find it within, and then it can emanate without. So that's kind of what happens is we get deceived by the natural light of the temporary realm and seek momentary satisfaction all the time. I ain't gonna lie, there's a lot of fun, cool stuff to do around here. I mean, like I said, I just went to Jamaica, but the true spiritual, eternal light and realm is where it's at and where we should be seeking constantly. That's why it says be in the body, not of the body, So basically, like, even though we're temporarily kind of attached to this thing that's temporary, you want to constantly seek, and that's why it says pray continuously in the scriptures and stuff. I've seen Harvey Wallbanger. I've seen that kind of video of other children. So I have videos and all this stuff. So if you go on my profile page of TikTok, this is like before they started throttling me down and removing my stuff. I could put out a video and it'd see 30, 40, 50, 100, 200,000 people. Now I'm lucky to break 1,000. But if you go on my profile page of TikTok, I have playlists that can help educate, like, in order. And very few people make it through all the playlists, want to go through all the playlists. Everybody wants that quick, easy button, and that's typically not the best way. When you are looking for a quick and easy now button, that's a big sign and indicator that it's not right. It's not. Everybody will try to sell you that get out of jail quick card, that here's what you need to fix everything, pay me $1,000, I'll make it all good. That ain't how it works. When you're dealing in the legal system, you're dealing in the corporate interests of big business monsters of the field, the billionaires that kind of control all the stuff that you deal with on a day-to-day basis. It's not an easy game when you start to create and establish your own stuff. It just is what it is. And when you're dealing in someone else's game, 99% of the time the house wins. If you're going to be playing the house's game, they only let 1 or 2 people win so that everybody doesn't think it's a complete sham, All right, let me back up some. It's Jazz Love. How to enforce these contracts? Well, it depends on what contract you're trying to enforce. Contracts initiate verbally. So you can initiate contracts with your kids, with your families, with your friends. You can ask questions coming from the position of queen or princess, whatever you like. And start to learn that stuff. All that stuff's outlined in my videos under contracts, because contracts aren't just a piece of paper. They start verbally, and you can start enforcing your will. I mean, it's kind of manipulative, but that's how it works. It's just how it works, You can. I've tried to take the middle position on a lot of things in this world, but you have to be a force somehow, whether it's in the middle, the right, or the left. I try to do the middle path the best I can, so that I can see both sides clearly. When you lean to the left or the right, it takes a lot for me to take a position left or right, for or against something, to decide on something. As within, without. Yes, STL. That's how it works. Danny Alberto, legalese is all caps wording, I'd say. Legalese is a language that is like Black's Law definitions. There's a few definitions that get us all tricked up all the time. One of them is person. And one of them is understand, and there's a couple other ones that they have special definitions. And honestly, this is how this works. When you're the creator and author of your own contracts, you can have special terms and conditions how you want to define them. And if it's not defined, like the jurisdiction of something, it can be up for construement. So it's kind of important, if you're going to be making your own laws and rules and regulations, you want to try to define certain things so that there is no miscommunication or misunderstanding of how anything is laid out for your will, And that's why contracts can be as simple as, I'll see you in an hour, I'll pick you up, sweetie, to 10,000 pages where they sneak in a little bill that says, TikTok can't be live or something like that, It's so funny how how contracts work. But it is what it is. STL, as within, as without. Yep. Daydream Believer, For You page. Thank you for hashtag education. Although I think education might give me less followers. STL, Danny Alberto, Capitis Dominius. All right, so STL, that is one of the miscommunicated things from old technology that a lot of those sovereign citizens try to teach. Capitis Dominius just means capital. It's like capital punishment. It doesn't. It's capital loss of status. Capitis Dominius Nucia, or whatever it means, capital loss of status. It does not mean that you as a human have lost your complete status because you're using capital letters for your name. Okay? That's one of those miscommunication things that maybe I need to write that down because I need to make another video. And one of them was Minnesota Rule 220, which is about housing. So I actually want to write that down. So Dominius Capitis, there we go. And Rule 220. I got to get like a couple items to talk about before I make a video because like just two ain't really enough. Which is, hey, I try to make quality content for everybody to congest and consume. Congest. All right, Chris Vaughn, great material, highly recommended. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. All my videos are free, all my content, all my consultations, everything. Hi there, I enjoy all your videos. Can you tell us about Ambiguous Negotiable Instrument and how it's backed by gold? So ambiguous means like, like anonymous, right? I mean, I have never heard of an ambiguous negotiable instrument, so I got to look that up. And I do apologize for that. Like, I don't know everything. An ambiguous instrument is an instrument that in form is such it's going to be either be treated by the holder as a note or as a bill. Yeah, so ambiguity, like, that's why you want to define stuff, because stuff can be ambiguous. It can have unknown terms and conditions or outcomes or form and stuff like that. So an ambiguous instrument is not necessarily backed by gold. And I don't know where you got that from, but you can have stuff backed by gold all you want. Now, depending on who minted the gold or how you acquired the gold or all that stuff kind of matters. If you're going to make your own gold, I've stamped my own gold. I've stamped my own silver. I've earned it through actual trading of labor, not like compensation from a corporate entity and stuff like that. So, and that's what I use to put as the corpus inside of a trust as the initial race or res. A lot of people say res. So I've like I said, I looked it up. Like an ambiguous instrument is basically up for construment, and just because of it's ambiguous does not necessarily denote it's backed by gold. Fairly. Oh, let me go back. Harvey Wallbanger, take dominion over land, air, water. Absolutely, 100. That is what we're supposed to do as kings and judges and sovereigns on this earth. You're supposed to take dominion over the land, air, and water, and it's a process. Okay, I fail all the time. I'm not by any means perfect. I'm not up here trying to proclaim I know everything or that I'm perfect. I just have been in a lucky position to be able to study a lot of different subjects and to help people on consultations. STL got it. STL, thanks. Fairy thuggin', yo. Hey, sir, how you doing? Nice to see you. I like your user handle. Harvey Wallbanger, thanks for your help. You're very welcome. Tasteless Chef, all three words, ambiguous negotiable instrument. I looked that up. Ambiguous negotiable instrument. And in Section 17 of the Negotiable Instruments Act, an ambiguous instrument is an instrument that in form is such to either be treated by a holder as a note or a bill, but that does not necessarily specify that it's backed by gold. Now, what you can do is if there's something specific that you're talking about, you can give me like a code or a reference to some type of statute or something else that you're trying to refer to, because what I'm seeing is not saying that it's backed by gold. You can back anything by gold. I could back my car up by gold, but it's controlled by somebody else. But I can still back it up with gold, saying that instead of using Federal Reserve notes. All right, let's go back to hold on, Harvey. Another word is syllogism. So I have not heard that one either. Y'all got me looking up stuff today. Syllogism. Oh, syllogism. All right, syllogism, Greek, is a kind of logical argument that applies deductive reasoning to arrive a conclusion based on two propositions that they're asserted or assumed. Instant form reasoning. Okay, so that's for instance, all dogs are animals. All animals have 4 legs. Therefore, all dogs have 4 legs. I see what you're saying. It's kind of like I do that all the time. A little too much syllogism. I'm always like overthinking about crazy things. But what's weird, and I'm actually going to talk to my girlfriend about this, I can actually like think about nothing. Like I can completely turn off everything, all traffic in and out, other than the frequencies and like emanating energy in and out, which I can throttle up and down and control. But I can turn off all like words, thoughts, and all that, like at a drop of a dime. Some people, I watched this one video that says some people don't even have inner dialogue. Some people walking around that can't even like have inner thoughts, and there was an argument that meant that they are basically NPCs, which is I don't like saying that about people, but I can turn all that off at any time. All right, so on pulling not NARB, a video on pulling the oath in office. Also, what is there a video? Did you send me one, or what are you talking about? You just said video on pulling the oath. Did I say I was going to send you one? I think they're... Oh, it's in... Are you talking about the David Straight video on my class folder? Good day, buddy. Tastel Chef, the Utah branch where one sends the negotiable instrument to be paid. Are you trying to talk about for a bank? Are you trying to... Because you got to be careful when you start having the U.S. citizen engage in like negotiable instruments and bills of exchange and international bills of exchange and bonds and stuff like that, because the U.S. citizen isn't authorized to do certain things. They're like, we're the authorized representative for it, so you got to be careful because you can get yourself hemmed up for messing in certain things. You got to study a lot about banking if you want to start dealing in that area, in that arena. What's up, Yasui Juris? How you doing? Sherilyn, I just saw your video of the national debt clock. It took me to X. So strange what I see. Can you explain? I thought I explained it on the video. It looks kind of like they're giving us a glimpse into what's happening, which is everywhere. They're talking about a currency reset. So on the national debt clock, now here's what I don't know. I don't know who runs that, because the nationaldebtclock.org is not the same as the one that's like in Water Street or whatever. All right, National Debt Clock. I don't know who owns the website for usnationaldebtclock.org, but the original National Debt Clock is run by a very rich and wealthy family, and once he died, his son took it over, our national debt. But so the one that I posted on my video, it has a little secret window that takes you to that seal that I showed you on Twitter, who is controlled by the same person that owns usnationaldebtclock.org, that is showing an armored man with a silver shield. And what I was thinking about putting in the video is, in The Wizard of Oz, the original girl's shoes were made of silver, and that was the common law way back to reality. Once everything got turned into a corporation in black and white in The Wizard of Oz, she said, we're not in Kansas anymore, we're in a corporation. She didn't say the corporation part, but that's what that meant. And the whole thing was about the gold that got taken away from the currency. And she had on silver shoes, and that was the way to follow the gold back to, the guy that was pulling the levers in the whole shebang, where she met her tax identification number. She met her straw man, which was the corporate U.S. citizen. And she met the cowardly lion, which are the people that are all coward. But that logo looks like it's basically telling us what's up. It's posted a couple days ago. It says system reset. There's an armored guy with a gold key that's getting ready to do a silver revaluation. And he's standing on the USA, not US, but USA silver seal. And it's a very interesting kind of picture. And behind him is a vault, like where all the silver is. Now, what I also find interesting is a lot of the gold was taken away through a bunch of flim-flam and smoke and mirrors and tricks and stuff. And that's why on The Wizard of Oz, when they got to the end, it was just a guy pulling levers. Like, it was all smoke and mirrors the whole time. All right, let me get up to some questions. Be on the land, on the soil under common law. That is one way. You can be on the land. You can be under the land too, you know. And every day on this side of the soil is pretty good. But once you put this natural body to rest, yes. Clay, thank me for everything. Thank you. I thank you for thanking me too. I appreciate all y'all. You know, there's not a lot of people that out in my reality out here in Virginia that I can talk to. Barely anybody. You know, my ex I can talk to a little bit, my girlfriend a little bit, but outside of that, there's nobody who wants to know about contract law or how to be sovereign or how to like represent yourself or, you know, how to travel and stuff like that. Hi there, I enjoy all your videos. Oh, did I go way up too high? I did. I thought I was going back. All right, so I hope, Sherilyn, I explained some on this. Like I said, I didn't create the thing. The dude's got a red, white, and blue fez coming out of his helmet. You know, all the gold is up, but then it says suspended, which, you know, there's probably codes to all of this. So it has silver 3 times. It has silver 200, silver 211, silver 233. And then it's up 7.5, up 11, up 22. I can guarantee you all that has symbology and means stuff. But I don't know why it says suspended. So that would be the 4th phase. And then, like I said, up top, it's all the digital, because they're holding the digital world, the AI and all that, they're holding that as the highest value. All right, so let me go down some. Not nard. Oh, mindful being. All right. Treated as a draft. Cletus Snow. Treated as a draft or promise to pay. Are you talking about promissory note and all that stuff? Because we can write promissory notes, but you have to go through a banking agent in order to monetize it, because we're not authorized to do that. You can, through certain forms, reclaim checks that you write as original issuer on an account. You can get a percentage back, but taxes have to be paid, and then you're commingling if you're not careful dealing with private assets when you try to bring those forward, so you got to be kind of careful. Like I said, Matt, it takes a long time to deal in the banking system. I'm somewhat learned in a lot of this stuff. I'm not like a master of every single thing. And, for example, when it comes to like doing maintenance, like I know a high level on a lot of stuff. Like I'm good at a lot of stuff, but I'm not like the master of everything. You know, I'm just a big general bank of a lot of useless knowledge, to be honest with you. There's a lot of useless stuff bouncing around. Tasteless Chef. I don't remember the name of the branch in Utah that it's sent to. Yeah, if you can, I've never heard that you can send a, what would you call it? An ambiguous negotiable instrument to a branch in Utah. It sounds like something that you're trying to do in a banking area. So you gotta be careful. Even the AI Copilot, an ambiguous negotiable instrument, refers to a financial document that can be interpreted in more than one way due to its terms. Promissory note has the discretion to treat it as either. Yeah, so it's like I said, it's ambiguous. It could be a bill or something else. That's just like us. We have multiple hats that we can wear at all the times. Thanks for the sharing of the live. Non-NARD securities. It's all about. Oh, I think I went down too far. Oh, not the U.S. citizen, but the non-citizen U.S. national, PVT, private national. So you're tasteless. You're a human. You're none of those things. As a human, you can choose to claim a status. That's up to you, and I have videos on that. You can choose to be, you know, if you want to represent a national corporation, you can represent a national, or you can create any other type of entity to interface with the public. You have to have some corporation to interface with the public. It seems kind of weird because humans are interacting all the time, but really at the end of the day, it's corporations dealing with corporations, and that's why everything's about corporate interest. All right. You're talking about making a video but needed more content. Oh, did I say I was going to make a video on that, non-NARD? About pulling the oath in office? I thought I said there was one already on. David Straight made one. Yeah, you gotta go in my class video. It's like all in there. And you can go for www.bondsforthewin.com. But I thought I was gonna tag you in a video, but I tried to find it for a minute. And, like, it's just hard to find stuff on TikTok. Daydream Believer, you're amazing, and your beard is awesome. Thank you. When I went diving, I appreciate it, sweetheart. When I went diving in in Jamaica at Rick's Cafe, so Rick's Cafe is kind of a popular place. They've had to rebuild it like 3 times through hurricanes. And when I was jumping off diving, I tried to go off on the big one first. They said I had to read this disclaimer and do a little one first. But anyway, when I walked up, they were like, Jesus. They were talking about, my beard, which is so funny because everybody's been indoctrinated with that white image of a guy who's nothing to do with like what Jesus even looks like or did or a similitude of the man or whatever, Starlight, why did David Strait and his wife end up in jail? Did they get tricked? Sometimes the law enforcement will do things for the better interest of public, even if it's not lawful. For instance, the legal system, it doesn't matter if it's rightful, just, or truth, right? It only matters about what you can prove. I don't think David was that learned on how to travel without a license, but what the CIA or other people will do is they will purposely create fraudulent charges, jail someone like me or somebody who has a massive amount of followers that are teaching outside of the mainstream media that are causing too much disruption to the sheep, and it'll instantly discredit everything they do, and they'll lose 95% of their followers immediately once something like that happens. Top Ganal, you can change your citizenship by the expatriate. Yeah, you can go in a clerk, you can go in like a courthouse and announce your citizenship if you want. You can do stuff like that. But here's the thing. You're not a U.S. citizen. You never were. It's just a corporation. It's just an entity that you can use. It's just a limited liability bankrupt franchise of the United States that is an individual trust classified by the IRS, and you have benefits that you can use by it, and you also have stuff that can get you in trouble if you use it. You just got to know the rules of the game, which we're not taught on purpose, and that's just kind of how it is. But you don't have to use that thing. You can dock it. You just got to make sure there's no confusion if anybody tries to come up and say you are that U.S. citizen. That's why I do status and standing. I recommend it because it's very easy to then pull out documentation, because at the end of the day, words are cheap. If you have it down in writing, you can prove certain things. All right, Sherilyn, thanks for the follow, Luke. I somewhat broke myself buying about $80,000 in silver. Seriously, eating a lot of rice. Wow. Well, it sounds like you picked the right commodity, apparently, from what they're putting on the U.S. federal debt clock, or federal national debt clock. Todd, hey Charles, hope you're doing well, brother. I am, man. It's beautiful. It's Friday. I'm loving life. I got like a little slight something in my throat, but I think it'll pass soon. Something's been going around. My son was a little sick. Danville, VA. Here, what's up? Oh, cool. Yeah, I'm around Norfolk. Securities. Yeah, you want to be very careful about dealing in securities and stuff. There's certain things that the U.S. citizen can't mess with. All right, Jamie Lara. Can you dispute jurisdiction after the case has been ruled? Yes. You can, as long as you haven't appealed it. If you've appealed the case, then you've basically forever solidified the fact that the court had jurisdiction to overhear the matter. And I didn't learn that until after I tried to appeal my case. If I wouldn't have appealed it, I could have at least gone after fraud, that they didn't even have subject matter jurisdiction. Once you try to appeal it, you're done. If you haven't appealed it, you have some remedy. James Moore, man, I'm 1,000,000% on being sovereign. My wife, being a nurse, doesn't like to hear it. Yeah, I can understand that. It took me a while to teach my ex-wife a lot of the stuff, but it's all about learning, and not all of us are on the same path. And that's one of the things you have to understand when you're coming from love, is you got to understand that don't push and force your views on anybody. Always come from a space of love and trying to offer a safe space to try to teach and guide. And if it's not for her, it's we're all on different paths to the same goal. At the end of the day, none of us going to make it out of here alive. We're all on this journey together. We're all a body and a unity. And there's imagine if your body was made out of complete left fingers, or pinky fingers. You have a left arm, you have a right arm. They're all part of the same body, and it's just like the eyes trying to tell the heart that the eyes are more important, or the heart trying to tell the liver that the liver is more important. It's like We're all in this together, and we all have our own little part and piece and puzzle to play. Danville, Sarah, did you hear about the crypto being a pawn? Oh yeah, I've heard all about it. I have not spent 1 ounce of effort doing anything in crypto. And I have watched people lose so much money on it. I've watched people gain money overnight and then lose it all. And then, like, it's just, yeah, it seems like a Ponzi scheme to me. Everybody and their mama's coming out with different types of cryptocurrency that, hey, guess what? We use US dollars to base its value off of. At the end of the day, all these digital cryptos that are coming out of left field, right field, up, down, left, right, we all base the value of them off of the US dollar, you know? And it's like, that's how indoctrinated we all are. All right, so I'm hearing you need a VPN to do banking in foreign countries. That's cool. I've never heard that before. That might be very possible. You know, the U.S. dollar is not going nowhere near as far as it used to. I can tell you that much. Tasteless Chef, I'll have all the info after the class I'm in. Just thought you would know more about it. No, I have never heard of an ambiguous instrument that is backed by gold that you can send somewhere in Utah. I haven't. But yeah, by all means, send me. You can DM me sometime. Human means monster in law dictionary. Yes, it does, Chris. That is one of the legalese terms that they come up with. Top Gunnel. You can change your citizenship. Oh, dang, what am I going backwards? Human color of man for the color of law, just man and woman. Yeah, so we all have different colors, and we're all, you know, the natural light shows us division. It shows us that there's a separation between us all, but guess what? We're actually all connected through the natural light. And then in the spiritual light, we all are connected. There's no division. It's all like unity. There's no even trick of it. And even in the commercial light, that's the exchange and interaction of all that stuff. We're actually all connected and all one through all 3 lights, in the natural light, the spiritual light, the commercial light. And but we're so used to using the 2 eyes of division to see separation and distance between all of us that we assume that there's a big segregation between everything. And that's just what the enemy uses very easily with the sword that spins in all directions, the flaming fire that tries us all. You know, it's hard to overcome the natural realm and sacrifice yourself daily to find the one in unity through love. Chris Vaughn, Sean Hanley, thank you. You got a status and standing doc. Oh, yeah, I got all that on my website. You can check it out. Guys, this live will be on YouTube. The audio will be in my Telegram group. I have videos on my profile page of TikTok to help re-educate you in order, foundation, nature, spirit, and commerce. Take some time, go through all that stuff. There's auxiliary information on my website to help, all your paths should you choose to keep gaining and growing. All the stuff that took me to get where I'm at. All of my social medias are linked on my profile page or on my website also if you scroll down there. All right, amen, brother. Thank you. I do have that. So James Moore, I can't explain. That's my downfall, man. I get frustrated too fast. Yeah, it took me a long time to talk like this, dude. I mean, it took me years. At first I was a parrot, and guess what? I was repeating stuff that even my greatest mentors thought was the truth, and ended up later not even being the truth. And then you embody it because it sounds so good, and it sounds, once you start opening your eyes, and you're like, oh, there's a straw man. Oh, everything's corporations. Oh, it's all commerce. Everything seems so interesting, and it's very easy to get misled. But that's why I lay foundations that you can build upon that can't be shaken. And then if anybody ever tries to come and challenge me, I have laid a foundation that I haven't seen anybody be able to shake. So if they can come at me and it goes against my foundations, that's why it's very hard for me to go left, right, up, or down. If I've laid a foundation, I have done my due diligence the best I can to make sure it is the most valuable and viable foundation source to build upon, because you don't want to build your house in a swamp. You don't want to build your house on sand. You want to build it on a sturdy bedrock foundation, and these are all parables. Pussy Beater, thank you for following the live. And that, I kind of read that out loud there, huh? All right, so Starlight Artesian, have you ever met anyone IRL who needed help learning in real life? Oh, yeah, all the time. And the best thing to do is just try to assess how everybody's on their own path, and you have to teach them and reach them on their own level. And that's why I come on here and I try to help everybody on a case-by-case basis. Anybody that I've met in the real world, yeah, I've helped several people through contracts, Mostly it's the girls that are like really into me that I end up teaching a lot because they're into me, so they're like infatuated. But and some guys too. I've helped them with all kinds of things. It's just different for everybody. But yeah, I've helped a lot of people, and honestly, I would say all the thousands of people that I've helped on my website that email me, I would say that's in real life too. Even though some of them are agents and trying to build cases and stuff like that, but some of them are real people with real stuff. I've had people call me with terrifying things, like they're going through some jams, and I've just give them the best thing I can. And playa, you talking about beach? All right, so not the all right. I've already gone through that. Little about a lot. Let's see. Do you know anything about global family prosperity accounts? No, I have not heard of that. I can look it up though. This would be like, all right, we're talking about global prosperity accounts. All right. The freedom of prosperity indices. Interesting to see which countries have experienced the biggest changes in freedom since. Oh, so this is like, is it economically like laden to what your region or what you can do? Because like even on the debt clock, it talks about, it says each family has a savings of about $7,800, while each person has a debt of $75,000. That's like a whole year's salary for a lot of people. U.S. student each is $38,000. It's a very interesting clock, and it has a time machine too, all that stuff. All right, no, I've never heard of that. It sounds kind of cool. Kind of sounds like I said, like it's being tied into economic statuses and basically how people are living based off of that. And there's also another thing you can look up, which is the not the GDP, but basically the cost of living in different areas. And there's a whole list that changes every year of what is the most expensive places to live and the cheapest. Like when I went to Turkey, oh my gosh, I filled up a whole shopping cart with like 100 items, and it was like $110 or something like that. I went to freaking Jamaica in a grocery store. I got 5 things, and it was $136, and it was just fruit, and it was rotten. Like all the fruit was rotten. It's like a pain in the butt. But I did what a stupid tourist would do. I didn't go to like a stand. I went to where apparently the rich people go, which I just wanted to get food. All right, so you think Tasteless Chef, I think I've watched all your videos on TikTok at least twice. You do know a little. I'm glad that I know a lot about a little, and then you said a little about a lot. But it's funny. Yeah, I know a lot about a little. I know a little something, something. Thanks for the follow, Jarrett. Chris, Jamie, Laura, don't appeal. Do everything in letters derogatory. Yes, administrative and get them. Yes, get them, Chris. Playa. Sherilyn, you can exchange the U.S. dollar with other currencies. So does it make sense to trade into BRICS currency? Yeah, if they would even take the U.S. Federal Reserve note. I don't even know if the BRICS, because BRICS, you're talking about, and that's one of the things that blew my mind when I started this journey, is that you can actually buy gold and silver with fiat debt Federal Reserve notes. I don't know if a BRICS nation would take Federal Reserve notes. There are places that won't accept it. It's not as fast as I thought it was going to be, because I've been hearing about that a long time. Starlight Artesian. Sounds like your girls are trying to be a subject of conversation dating. Yeah, maybe. No, I'm just saying when I started learning this stuff, I found it more interesting. I found it more interesting or easier to captivate girls that were interested in me more. I think it's more because like I was just we were both pursuing each other, so it's like this is what I'm about, and I'll just be talking about it. And it's kind of weird just trying to go up to like a random person and being like, hey, did you know the U.S. Citizens franchise is bankrupt of the United States? Or hey, did you know the U.S. is located in the District of Columbia? Or you got to be real subtle and sly, when you're trying to sneak this kind of stuff in. Sherilyn. Using VPN to manage overseas. Guess got to go to open up account. Yeah, I mean you can use Federal Reserve notes, to do stuff. It's just up to you how you want to do your banking. Everything is it's up to you on how you want to interact and exchange. You are the author and creator of all of your contracts. It is completely up to you. So, it's up to you. Oh, that's what I meant by play. Oh, girls. No. So, I'm currently a a one girl man. I mean, I have that option, but I don't think it's very honorable unless it's fully expressed from all the parties. And there's not a lot of girls that are fine with having sharing. Like my last girlfriend from Turkey, I couldn't even look at a girl. If I even looked her, if I liked a picture of another girl, we were done. Like I couldn't even I had some random chick like all these photos of mine, and I liked one of hers, and then it was just like we ended. We ended. I was like, I just gave her a like back. Anyway, I don't want you to give a free plug, but what insurance will cover nationals without a license? You don't need that unless you're trying to. You can insure a trust. For a national, you can use gold, you can use silver, you can use certificates to bond. When I say bond, that's the only time I would ever talk about bonding. I wouldn't try to. A lot of these people try to teach you to take a bond and go through the U.S. Treasury Department and try to exchange it for something or whatever, or create and they're going to jail. That's not the bond I'm talking about. Bonding and insuring for a vehicle is kind of different, or bonding or insuring for your health. But what I typically suggest is creating something somewhat like the U.S. citizen, not necessarily national. And create a trust is very similar. And you can get an EIN for it if you want to. If you want to do public banking, you can use that to give to. So what ends up happening is if you're trying to interface with a medical industry or whatever, eventually when they do taxes and accounting, they're going to request a tax identification number, because it's all about corporations doing business with corporations, and the U.S. citizen's a corporation. So I suggest creating something very similar to the U.S. citizen if you're going to try to interface with the public to do anything like banking or health related or cars or trusts or anything. And that's why I kind of like using the corporation sole, and a charitable religious trust you can create. That gets the tax identification number, and that's what deals and handles in cars and does all that kind of stuff. It's up to you how you do your business. At the end of the day, that's about everything, and that's how you're taxed. That's how you're treated. It's not how your status is. Although we get confused into thinking we're worthless worker bees down here because we're getting taxed hand over fist, but that's not really how it works. All right, so girls. Oh yeah. Tasteless Chef. What I mean by this is when they find that we know too much, then they change X, Y, Z. So that one. Oh yeah. So that's what ends up happening about, and that's one reason why I try not to invest a whole lot of time and effort into all kinds of things, because stuff does change. And that reminds me of that movie with Leonardo DiCaprio where once he figures something out, the whole earth would change, so that all these sheep can't get through. And that's kind of how judges work too. They're gatekeepers, but if you try to go in there and say that you're a sovereign to set off selling clothes and stuff, he's not going to let you get a remedy until at least he gets everybody out of your way. He's going to treat you like garbage. Because if he just lets you in and go, oh yeah, hey, you're sovereign, come on in, then everybody behind you would be like, oh, let's do what this guy did. Let's do what this guy did. And that's not how the game works. That's not how everybody's kept in lockstep. It's a very, it's not fragile system, but it's somewhat harmonious. And if you can see it on a big picture. Tasteless Chef needs to learn again. Yeah. I'm with you on that. I understand 100%. And I've also talked to a lot of my old mentors who spent just as much time as me or more on studying, and they wished that they had spent more of their life being with loved ones or enjoying nature or traveling, instead of reading commercial law books or contracts or government books or stuff like that. Because, at the end of the day, like I said, 99% of the time, if you're playing in the house's game, the house is going to win. The house's rules, the house's game, you're using the house's money, you're using the house's U.S. citizen, you're using the house's contracts, you're using all that stuff. It's hard to be sovereign. And you can take your sovereignty as full as you want. You can get your own parcel of land, create your own wall, create your own army, create your own food, create your own water, or you can understand that you're already sovereign without doing all that stuff, and then you can just have fun in life. It depends on you. That's why you got to be in the body, not of the body, because all this stuff's temporary. You can't take any of that stuff with you. All the Egypts and pharaohs all the pharaohs in Egypt that got plundered, they couldn't take none of that stuff with them. That's why they were trying to create boats and stuff to sail in the afterlife, and all that stuff was still there, because you ain't taking it in the next realm, the full spiritual. You ain't taking it in the dream. That's like trying to take gold from this reality and insert it into your dream, and it actually disappear from this. I'm not saying it's not impossible, but it ain't easy. Who can change the hair color on their head through thought? That's actually scripture. All right, so needs to learn again. All right, Chris Vaughn, I was kidding. No explanation necessary. I got you, home. Sherilyn, I thought you were married, Charles. I'm too old to flirt. Okay. Well, we ain't got to flirt. I mean, I'm just here doing it for educational purposes. I don't know what I'm talking about. I am a very flirty guy by nature. I flirt with everybody. I'm talking about 7-Eleven chicks. I don't flirt with guys. But as far as girls go, I mean, I'm just a flirty guy. Women are very pretty to me. All right, so Chris Vaughn, if you do paper bonds, only do as defense for a living soul, never as person. I wouldn't. You don't worship any graven image. That's how this thing works. It's all a deceitful game when you start messing in their world. Now, it depends on if you're trying to establish yourself through paper on what you're trying to do. You got to be very careful. But that's why I talked about the video where if you can get something recorded and certified out, you basically have established a unbreakable record that is basically acceptable in their realm, in the public, bankrupt, dead, uneducated, crazy, psycho realm, the world of the dead. I mean, that's basically what the public is. They're all asleep sheep that are uneducated by design to keep everybody in lock, And every once in a while, a sheep will poke their little head out of the herd, and they'll get bashed down. And that's why when I tell people start educating on how to travel without a license, I don't ever suggest putting a giant bumper sticker on the back of your car saying, "I am above the government. The police work for me. Screw you guys. I'm going home." No, I always suggest making a plate that is almost exactly to the identity of the locale that you are traveling in. You don't want to stick out like a sore thumb. You don't want to because the system is in place for a reason. And what's cool about the system is through education and time and effort, you can actually set yourself free, but nobody wants to take that time or effort. They all want to worry about the next thing and be focused on fads and food and fashion and freaking banging and like all this stuff that it's just like a fidget spinner. That sums up everything. I looked and saw this amazing fidget spinner. I mean, it was just so elaborate and so elite to give the illusion to somebody that they're actually accomplishing something when they're sitting there doing nothing. They're just flicking a thing, right? That's the whole premise of a fidget spinner, is to make someone feel like they're actually accomplishing something, and they're not. They're just flicking. It's like you're just spinning in circles. Bang your head in the wall. It would just make as much sense. But that's the reality that we live in. All right, Chris Vaughn. If you do paper bonds, no. Inception, yes, Tasteless Chef. That was the movie, and that was a very. Was that the one with the blonde? No, that was the Matrix. No, so yeah, the Inception movie. That was a really cool movie. It's like a dream within a dream within a dream, and honestly, dream. I would not argue, but I would say that the dream world, the spiritual realm, is more truth and knowledge and solid standing than this natural realm, because dream world is basically spiritual. Just like my words are actually more solid and consistent than my flesh, believe it or not. And it's weird, frequencies and stuff, when you start getting on different levels, it can get crazy. And you can let yourself slip. you can go down a slippy, crazy world. That's why it's not very wise to do like a lot of drugs and try to learn all this stuff, because it can make you go crazy real quick if you start overthinking too much. Micah, have you tried posting your videos using a VPN to reach more sleepy folk? No, I don't know how that would work, because it would still be posting on my profile page unless I'm trying to. I can tell you, YouTube's like my backup, and that's garbage. Like, my stuff will go out to 60 people, if that. I have stuff that go out to 40 people, and then, like, 2 people will view it. And it's like, good gosh. It's just crazy. But, yeah, I haven't thought about trying to do a VPN. I used to do VPNs and do, like, different things, and when I got out of jail, I was in there for 3 years. A lot changes in 3 years. And when I got out and tried to use VPNs to do torrents, what had happened that was new, that had changed since I was in there, is they the company that I was getting internet from can still tell what's happening with their service. So even if you use a VPN, you're using a virtual private network, the people that you're interfacing with out there in the world can't tell who you are, but the internet service provider can tell. They're still, and they came at me and was like, yeah, you're doing stuff you ain't supposed to. I was like, I'm using a VPN. How are you even? And it's like, oh yeah, that makes sense. You're the service provider of the internet that I'm using to actually reach out to people. And by the way, if you think anything you can do is private, it's not. That's the funny thing about all this stuff with this TikTok ban and all that crap is, they got digital profiles on all of us, all of our search history, all the stuff we talk about, all that stuff is all being encapsulated and captured and being tracked. We're being tracked about everything. It's all about data and usage, and we're in digital prisons already. Like, we're all locked down. It's crazy. All right, I got a funny story. I want to get this on the slide before I end this stuff. So, all right, so, oh my gosh. So my son, y'all are going to laugh. Look, this is absolutely weird. So my son, he's 3. He decided to take his diaper off and take a dump inside of the slide, the enclosed one that spins around a circle. And, my ex-wife, she said she was really stressed because she tried to, she yelled and was like trying to get him. And when she did that, that freaked him out, and he was trying to run from her up the slide and threw all the poop, and like it just started spreading it everywhere. It was sliding down, up and down, and it was just like, and I called her, and she was like, yeah, she was really stressed. I'm like, yeah, I bet you were stressed. A poopy slide. She was like, I'll pay you $20 to clean it, and I'm like, I'll army crawl through there with some wet wipes and just handle it. Well, when I got there, I thought about taking a picture of this stuff because it was a lot more poop than I thought. And I was like, good gosh. I had to dump 4 pitchers of water down this slide to try to even get it semi-manageable to where I could try to start cleaning up. And in my mind, I thought, I think the easiest way to clean this thing up, because I'm a big guy and I'm trying to go through this little tube like through circles to try to clean poop out. And in my mind, I'm like, the easiest way to do this would be to just slide down the slide. Like, just clean it with my body, that's what I was thinking. And I had actually put on clothes, that could get dirty or whatever. So the slide's all wet. There's a little bit of poop everywhere. And I'm trying to find the best way. Like, do I start at the bottom and try to crawl up? Do I start at the top and try to go down? Well, my dumb tail tried to go from the top down. And sure enough, I slipped. Like it's called a slide for a reason. So I went down, and I went fast. I went down this slide and just basically cleaned the whole slide with my shoulder and my leg, and I had poop all on me, and went in the back and had to spray myself with a garden hose to get it all off. And I was just like, I manifested this by thinking, I was like, this is the best way to clean this thing out. I thought about filming it, but if I posted that, a lot of kids probably wouldn't get made out there in the world, because if anybody told me about stuff like this, I wouldn't have wanted a kid. But I was such a bad guy or kid growing up. I scared myself from wanting to procreate. But anyway, I thought that'd be a little funny little thing that y'all like. Yeah, Reynolds, everything is tracked. Absolutely, 100%. Chris Vaughn, all my sinful searches are just digital research. Your Honor. It wasn't me. It was the one-armed man. That's who did it. A U.S. citizen did it. Nah, Arms laughing. I knew someone's kid that did similar. Can't wait till they're older. Yeah, absolutely. Gotta get that kid on some fruit. Oh, he eats some fruit. He's vegan. So this is, man, that was some clay stuff. It's slippery. Man, and you know what? The worst part on top of that was there was ants in it. So as I slid and cleaned all of this poop out of this slide with my body, I get up and there's dead ants, and there's some of them that are crawling around. They're like little plopping feet. Everybody got a piece of this poop. It was just a great experience. I enjoy it. But anyway, all right. So I'm at the bottom, guys. I think. Hold on. I'm at the bottom. It's Friday. I'm going to post this live on YouTube. The audio will be in my Telegram group. My social media is linked on my website. My website's linked on my profile page of TikTok. Auxiliary information is on my website also to help you on your paths and journeys. I have playlists to help re-educate you should you try to choose to edify yourself and learn kind of the stuff that it took to get me here. It does take a while. Try not to run too much when you start getting a little bit of knowledge. That's how we all get deceived. I love that all y'all are on here trying to educate yourself on this Friday afternoon. It's nice out where I'm at. I don't know how it looks where y'all are at. I'm glad that I got to tell y'all Man, I'm telling you, if I would have filmed this, me getting covered in poop, it would have been funny. It'd have been really funny. And I almost did. I almost started filming it because it was so much. I was just like, why do I got to deal with this, man? Oh, snow in there? Where are you at? That's freaking cold. That sounds, dang. Jamaica is 70 to 80 degrees year round. And, man, the water is so beautiful. Wow. But here, no, it'd be cold. Yeah, Canada's cold. Some areas are cold. I think there are parts of Canada that aren't that bad, maybe. I don't know. Anyway, guys, if you don't have any more questions or need any more help, I'm going to wrap everything up and enjoy my Friday. I'll try to post this on YouTube soon and on Telegram. I appreciate everybody for coming on. Check out my videos if you get a chance. TikTok ain't pushing my stuff out anymore, so you actually think you have to search for me if you want to see what's going on. Thanks for the follow. Have a nice weekend, Walt, Banger, and Claw. Appreciate all y'all and your support and love. Next time, see you next week. Enjoy.